I thought it was going to fail due to my lack of experience and wisdom, only to then see it grow on a scale that I could never have imagined while seeing my face on a billboard just outside of Shanghai. My name is Christopher McCowan, and I am the former owner of Vapor Talk LLC. I started Vapor Talk when I was in a mall in Temecula. I came across something called an iSig and ordered in my own product in an effort to make it better. I have to be honest and say that the company, although I had expected it to do well, took off much faster than I had expected. And it took off so fast and so quickly. I didn't know how to handle the finances. I didn't know how to handle the incoming shipments from China. There was just a lot of red tape and accounting to do with, for somebody that young. I think I just became overwhelmed, and so I reached out to, the Veld Group and basically explained to them what my situation was. I sat and talked to the Veld Group and said, look, I don't know what to do here. I think I want to sell this company. And then that's how I met them. I had expected the business to just sell, and although that was the initial intention, there was a different kind of game plan in place. And what ended up happening, actually, the eventual buyer was a really cool guy. We're still friends today. His name was Min. He was an international buyer. He really saw that there was massive potential. So he came back to me and said, look, how would you feel continuing as the spokesperson of the company with the history that you have, except taking this to the next level? Initially I thought, well, sure, I've always wanted to take it across the country, take it domestic. And he said, no, bigger. What do you think about taking this internationally? And then before I know it, I was whisked off to Shanghai, where I was greeted by several venture capitalists, which at that time I didn't even know what that term meant, and some board members, as well as some local Chinese press, all in preparation to launch what was originally a company I started out of my parents' garage, about to go across, the People's Republic of China. It was pretty exciting. One of the moments that really struck out to me is that as things progressed, I saw myself on a massive billboard just outside of Shanghai. So this vision that I had of this company, it grew. I thought it was going to fail due to my lack of experience and wisdom, only to then see it grow on a scale that I could never have imagined while seeing my face on a billboard just outside of Shanghai. So in China, they tend to move quite quickly. For me, the first experience I had as a spokesperson was being put in front of an audience of about 500 people, 6 cameras, and just like a movie. There was 7 reporters with little notebooks in their hand asking, why is this American company coming to China? What are your goals? So on and so forth. It was exciting. Honestly, it was fantastic because I was staying in 5-star hotels. I was being driven around. And, for me, I think the real highlight of it is that I grew up quite poor, and my mom worked multiple jobs to give us a chance that she didn't have. The investors that I was working with had heard that my mom's bucket list was to see the Great Wall of China. They heard that, paid for her to come out to Beijing when I had an appointment out there, put her in a 5-star hotel. I did a quick public speaking engagement, and then they whisked us both up past the lines directly to the Great Wall of China, where I got to stand with my mom and essentially tell her that those 3 jobs that she worked when I was a kid was ultimately worth it. And so that feeling, it was a mix of just happiness, excitement. It's difficult to describe because I went from thinking I was going to lose my company to standing with my mom on the Great Wall of China saying, look, I made it. And a lot of that was because of the Veld Group. Financially, I did quite well when the business was under my care, but when I transitioned to the spokesperson and sort of consulted along, my income rose significantly, and it was partly due to just the game plan that had been written beforehand and executed, and the fact that the company was now making sales on such a broad scale. I thought that by selling the business, I would have to kind of start over. I'd have to look for another job or maybe start another company, when really it pushed me into a level that I had dreamed of when I started that company. And, although I continue to work today, it's out of a want to work rather than a need to work. Obviously, with my life changing dramatically by working with this new buyer and becoming the face of a company on an international level, there was a lot of unknown ground and unknown territory for me. So I'd often call Michael or Ryan and say, hey, look, I'm in a situation that I've never dealt with before. How would you handle this? And even though we were at this point post-sale, they still took the time on the phone to say, look, this is what we've done with people in the past. Here's an experience that I had. And they sort of left that knowledge with me to make a final decision ultimately, but continued to stay in contact with me for years after the sale. The plan that the Velt Group laid out for me has allowed me to live quite a comfortable life, and now I get to enjoy playing piano and playing with model trains.